Welcome back. I'm playing Warhammer 40,000 Battlesector, and we'll continue on with our next multiplayer unit tips and faction recommendations here. The next unit we're going to talk about with the Forces of Chaos is the Skull Cannon. Definitely have pretty mixed feelings on these guys here, but before I get started, if you're enjoying these videos, please give my channel a like and subscribe to encourage me to post more content for you. So the Skull Cannon only costs 130 points. It has 350 health, 1 action point, 4 movement, 6 armor, and negative 15 evasion. Despite it having the 6 armor here, it seems like everything does damage to it pretty regularly, so that 6 armor definitely just doesn't seem to pay off, so it's definitely not as tanky as you would think it would be with that kind of armor. And again, it has the negative 15 evasion. It is a heavy support because this is your artillery piece. This is one of the few units that the Forces of Chaos have that are ranged. So it has the Skull Cannon. It has 1 attack. It is an artillery piece, so it does 33 to 45 damage to the unit attack. So as you can deduce, it really sucks against vehicles because you're only going to be doing 33 to 45 damage, assuming you land the hit. But if you're using it against infantry, it's definitely much more dangerous because it has 5 splash damage for 26 to 36 damage with an armor piercing of 5, and it has an optimal range of 7, but it can shoot all the way out to 12 spaces, and it has a baseline accuracy of 80 at the optimal range of 7, and for each tile that's below optimal, it only falls by 5 accuracy points. So these guys are incredibly powerful artillery pieces. Now when they're on Overwatch, it only does the base damage. It doesn't do the splash. So say comparing it to the Exorcist, where its attacks always splash and it can wipe out a whole Tormagant or Hormagant unit that triggers the Overwatch, assuming the attack hits. This will only take 1 model out of the full squad. So these guys are not as good as you'd expect in the Overwatch situation. Likewise, you see the bloodletters on top here. You'd think, oh, maybe these guys are going to have some sort of zone of control. These are considered ranged units, so even though they've got bloodletters back here that have their weapons, they don't attack at all. They're here purely for aesthetics, so there's no zone of control that they can give you. These guys are really good on any sort of maps where you have wide open spaces that you can sit there and drop a bunch of attacks on. And unlike other artillery pieces where if they get locked into place, these guys can still do a lot of damage for you if a unit is in melee range with them because of their abilities that they can use. So the first one is Bound in Brass and Bone. What this does is it's a straight up negative 20% damage received buff for the unit, so you'll usually want to use this in conjunction with its other ability, assuming you're going to get them stuck into a melee range and not get them killed the following turn. Or if they end up getting summoned into the middle of a bunch of forces, if you thought it was going to end up being a melee unit instead you got the Skull Cannon, then that's something else that you can use to help it survive. But in terms of the melee ability, it has Crushing Gorefest. So what this does is it's an incredibly powerful charge attack. So it charges through multiple units and it will do damage to any unit that's in front of it, whether it be an ally or an enemy, and it does 30 to 40 damage with an armor piercing of 5 to the units it's charging through, but it does 90 to 120 damage with an armor piercing of 8 to the final target. So this thing can hit and do damage to anything, whether it be vehicle, HQ units, and even when it's charging through, it still does good damage to everything else that it still hits. Now, the part that doesn't tell you is it only has, I think, a splash of 4 to 5. So if you're doing multiple like Hormagants in front of you, it won't wipe out the whole squad. And again, this is another thing that I get frustrated with that I've kind of gone over on most of these units that have splash damage. When it doesn't, I think most players, when it doesn't specify that there's a max to the splash like it does on the weapons, I think it's always going to hit everything in the squad. I think they were just like, oh, we can't have too much text in here because it's going to look ugly, but instead it just causes people not to understand the abilities, and I think they get frustrated by that. So I really wish they would specify how much splash each one of these charge attacks would do. I'm pretty sure it's 4 or 5, but I can't remember exactly. But this would be a way that you can help get a bunch of momentum going, assuming you are not just killing everything at range with the skull cannons. And likewise, you can charge yourself to either help kill a very important unit that may be close to being dead, or alternatively you can charge them out of a situation if all of a sudden a bunch of jump infantry have jumped on top of them and you need to get them out of there so you can keep doing damage. So this can be used both offensively and defensively. Most people are using it in an offensive manner though, trying to line up as many units as you can to do a very powerful charge attack, because you know these guys have their weak charge attack that does, you know, 15 to 20 and then 22 to 30 for 90 points. All of a sudden you have a solid artillery piece for 40 more points. It has a vastly superior charge attack. It also has ranged artillery. So this is, again, I think the costs on some of these units are kind of goofed up because for only a slight increase in the points, this is a far superior unit. Alright, well, we'll set up a match here and see what we can do to show off what they can do. And I think we are due for the Tyranids again. And we'll kind of set up our standard kit here. Guess we can just put you there.
Violence and death. The bloody feast awaits. Bring me their skulls. Kill them all. Their blood will flow.
Let's just move you up to here. Get you up to there. You can come up here. Put your Overwatch up to here. Oop, I suppose I should put your Overwatch too. Set it there, I guess.
More skulls for the skull throne.
Alright, so he landed his attack. That's nice. So again, their Overwatch does not have splash damage. That was weird.
I am the Blood Master. Their blood will flow. Lord of Rage, command me.
Yeah, this is one of those things that you always got to be careful with. Alright, so 42% chance to hit.
Violence and death.
Let you move up here.
Blood and brass. Khorne wills it so. Magnetic.
He's stacking up his poisons.
I claim your skulls for Khorne.
Alright, pull you back to here. You can smack here.
Those
guess we're going to put you over this way. That's what, 16 times 8. Okay. Pull you back. Let you charge through here. I got you 48. Alright, are you gonna kill this guy? You shouldn't. Good. Alright, let you charge through here. You got that kill. I'll let you jump over to here. Start working this guy down. I'll let you come up to here. Attack these guys. And you can come up to here and charge through here. Kill all those guys.
The blood must flow.
Let you charge up here. Alright, you can come that way, you can come over this way.
Their blood will flow.
You can start shooting this guy down.
Face me, cowards. None shall live. Khorne's rage guides us.
You're doing their poison damage everywhere. Are you really killing yourself this way? Alright, well. What do you got? Why do you guys have such low momentum? I had you guys getting easy kills here with multiple guys. Alright, good.
Blood for the blood god. Blood and brass. Towards the slaughter.
But you can charge over here. Start working these guys down.
Violence and death.
And you're up to 88.
The bloody feast awaits.
We have 35% chance to hit, huh? I'll go ahead and try to attack there, I guess. Can't say I'm terribly surprised that happened. Let's move you up to here, start shooting this guy down.
I am the Blood Master.
And we'll just drop a nice blind on all these guys here.
Forward! Blood for the Blood God!
Alright, start smoking this guy. Nice damage. Oh jeez. Not mean to do that. Alright, we'll do a little bit of something like this.
Towards the slaughter.
Alright. So you guys have your... Good. What? I don't like that too much. Shit. You weren't actually supposed to kill them all in one attack here. God damn it. You're killing too much.
The bloody feast awaits.
Alright, let's attack here. Alright, so if we empower things, we can do the inbound in brass and bone, and that gives you minus 50% damage received, and it lasts for 2 turns, and it drops the cooldown by a turn. And if you use the crushing Gorefest, that's really the ability you'd probably want to empower. It allows you to charge through multiple units, dealing 45 to 60 damage with armor piercing of 7 to everything that you go through, and then the final unit that you end up charging into, it'll increase the damage up to 150 to 200 with an armor piercing of 8. So that is definitely what you'd want to use if you had the opportunity. So let's see if maybe I can finish this off here with some nice little range attacks here. So as you can see, it did the splash there.
More blood for the Blood God.
And we'll let you come over here. Use up your free attack. Oh, and the other one must have been summoned, so the game doesn't recognize that as being a residual force. That's something I guess that could be potentially important, especially against the forces of chaos. If you're playing an Exterminatus mission, the summoned units do not count towards the points. So if you know which ones are the ones that were originally present at the beginning of the game, you would not have to kill everything that's summoned to get 100% victory for the Exterminatus missions, assuming you only left summoned units left that were unkilled. So what I'd recommend here for the skull cannons is, obviously, as you can see, they do very good at range. I had a little trouble setting up some good ranged attacks here because we were trying to charge through, set up charge ability so I could get the momentum as fast as possible. But if you're playing big open maps like the Hive Top, or I can never remember the name of the map where you're at the elevated position, these guys can actually outshoot like the orcs and most other units. If you just keep them on that elevated platform when you're shooting into the opened area, they can shoot to the other platform with pretty decent chances to hit, or onto the units in the ground that are coming to try to capture points if you're playing like a conquer map or a strategic command. So you can do some real obnoxious things with these guys depending on how you're playing with your forces here. Likewise, as you could see, that charge attack is incredible. It's better than most other charge attacks in the game, so these guys are definitely kind of overtuned for the price that they can do for you here. I think the counter argument is like, well, yeah, they can do a lot in terms of splash damage, either with a charge or the ranged attack, but if you're fighting armor and other units that are difficult to do damage to, you know, you're only doing 30-40 damage to a vehicle with these guys. So they're not great at taking out vehicles and super heavy armored units unless you're using the charge attack, or you have a whole bunch of them where you're just landing attack after attack after attack, because if you have your guys nearby, you can definitely buff their damage. Now obviously the Demon Prince doesn't get to give them any sort of damage buff because that only affects melee attacks, so the artillery piece would not benefit from that, but I think they still would benefit from the Bloodmaster giving them the Locust of Khorne buffs, which should increase their damage, their armor piercing, and their general armor by 1. So those would be ways that you could end up buffing them further. So, and then obviously as they get their momentum up, they get 1% percent damage per momentum that they get. So the more guys they're killing, especially the weak units in front of them, each turn you're doing that, you're increasing their total overall damage by that percentage of the momentum that they get by a whole percent. So definitely can cause them to do a shit ton of damage towards the end of the game, especially when you're using their charge attacks, and even more so if you're going to empower the charge attack to do a bunch of damage there. Thanks for watching. I hope you're enjoying these videos. If you are, please give my channel a like and subscribe. Encourage me to post more content for you. Have a great day.